Welcome to Ask the Magic 8 Ball. I'm here with Chloe Crystal Taylor,
Hi.
a local musician from Boston area.
Are we starting?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Very cool. Hi.
Hi. So, how are you doing today?
Good.
Yeah?
Good. Yeah.
Feeling the vibes?
Absolutely.
It's summer, it's hot
It's
outside.
really nice. I spent most of my day outside, which is cool.
Yeah.
And I worked out in the garden all morning and did some cleaning, which is cool.
That's nice.
And worked out. It's a good time.
If you had to choose top 3 venues in Boston, what are those top 3 venues?
Yeah, my favorites are probably the Jungle. Is one that I really like kind of going to just because they really hype people up and they're really there for the artists, which is great. And I say my other favorite venue is probably Brighton Music Hall.
Nice.
And yeah, this is kind of a less popular one, but I've been playing a lot of house shows, which has been fun. People have stages set up in their basement and shit. So I really like the dudes over at Kinross Community Center, and they just have a nice setup, and they have a stage outside, so they got a nice stage.
That's beautiful.
Right on their porch, and
sweet.
It's really cool. So I love playing there with those guys. They're at this point some of my best friends, and yeah, just really good people. But yeah, those would probably be my 3 favorite venues.
Awesome. So a lot of the influences that you have, I've noticed it's pop, indie, and also a little bit of Ed Sheeran inspiration.
Absolutely.
You want to talk about some inspiration, some influences for genres and artists?
Yeah. One of my biggest influences is definitely Ed Sheeran. But on top of that, Chloe Mariando is another really big influence for me. Kind of a rock pop, kind of girly. And
nice.
Another one would be, I get a lot of inspiration from Sorority Noise, actually.
Oh,
I don't know if you've heard of that band before.
I don't
but
think so. I thought you literally meant Sorority Noise.
No, not actual. There's a band, Sorority Noise, from the early kind of from back when I was in high school.
Oh, cool.
That got me really into this kind of vibe of music that I'm playing, of very kind of melodic and almost folky type acoustic playing.
Yeah.
Those would probably be 3 of my bigger inspirations with my personal music that I do right now. But just on top of that, I listen to a lot of lo-fi.
Oh,
and I listen to a lot of kind of really kind of these just on YouTube lo-fi artists, and get into just video game lo-fi. I've been doing that a lot recently. I've been listening to just Final Fantasy VII lo-fi and stuff like that. And
the lo-fi girl, I think they're gonna make a show out of
about the lo-fi girl.
I think so.
Holy shit!
I don't know if it's true, but I heard a rumor.
Hell yeah!
So you mentioned a couple of things before we recorded, but there was a mixed musician Pride show that you did.
Yeah,
recently?
So I did a show on the day of the Pride Parade in Boston, and I went to the parade, and then right after the parade I played a show in the Brighton Commons that my friends were hosting, and they had a bunch of musicians go up on stage and little kind of events going on around Brighton Commons. And then after that show I walked down the street to this place in Alston, and it was at this musician and Ferrari's house, but they hosted it, and Madison from Mixed Musicians, who I had done an interview with similar to this about a year ago, when I first started doing the music.
Yeah.
They were I'm going to get all of the people together who I had on these interviews, and we're just going to throw a show.
Sweet.
And
that is so
sell
cool.
tickets, and but see how many people will come and just get really, really into it. And it was such a good time. It it was probably one of the best shows I ever played, because it immediately started downpouring, like right before I was supposed to go on, and they ended up just being like, shit, we gotta get tarps up. So they got tarps up, and then I went on, and it was like downpouring, like completely downpouring during this entire set. But I just like went off as hard as possible during those
That's awesome.
songs that I had, and
super rock and roll.
yeah, and like opened for the whole thing, and it was like a really nice time, you know, and everybody just was really like, everybody stuck around and didn't leave after it started raining. They were like, we're gonna like see this through, and it was really cool.
Cool vibes.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Tell me more about your new album, Litlith.
Yeah, so my new album, Litlith, I have been working on over the past 9 months just in my room, and I currently live in a Zen temple, actually, as like a Zen student. And
you did mention that to me as well. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and have very much delved into that kind of area of life, of being like very mindful and like kind of like listening to these masters, and in the whole process of that, I was like, I'm gonna write songs and I'm gonna record those songs and release it on this like idea I had of this album called Lilith, basically inspired off of like the biblical figure Lilith, who was crafted from the same clay as Adam, and not obeying him, she was cast out as a she-demon and like banished from the Garden of Eden.
Whoa.
Where
heavy.
Yeah, and like long story short, like later becomes the snake after Eve was crafted in Adam's loneliness. Becomes the snake that tempts Eve to eat the apple of Eden.
Now, I'm not religious biblically wise, like I'm not Christian or Catholic, but I think I just learned something today. That's amazing.
So it's not mentioned in like a lot of like main like religions, but there are a lot of other like sects of like Judaism especially that mention Lilith as a character. And I was just really inspired by that concept of like I felt like I had gone through something similar with like somebody I had spent a really long time with, and we were together for like 5 years, and it was a very similar feeling to that, kind of like not listening. So he was like, and I kind of took a lot away from that, and related very heavily. So like running with this idea, like wrote this album in regards to that kind of idea, like writing from that perspective. And it was something that as I started doing it, like brought out a lot of trauma. Because it was a really like personal kind of weird endeavor, and it brought up a lot of things I wasn't expecting. So I so it was a struggle, but I felt like what I got from it was like a really beautiful thing that I'm really proud of.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
You know what's not beautiful though? These ambulance sirens.
Yeah. Just going.
You can't hear it?
Hell yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So lastly, you have a song that is a cover of a BioShock Infinite song.
Yeah, that song has like a lot of fucking streams on my on my platform for some reason.
I'm a huge fan of BioShock.
Oh, absolutely. Same.
Yeah. So that, you gotta tell me.
Yeah, absolutely. That song in particular was one of the first songs that I like sang, actually, because like I had kind of like had an interest in singing and like was always shut down by family for it. And my family, like I remember there was this one time my family went off and did stuff, and I was just alone in the house. I was maybe like 15.
Yeah.
And I just was like, you know what, I'm going to learn this song from BioShock Infinite. It's just really beautiful. And I started like going down on the, you know, just like putting everything down on paper and just going off of the paper and singing it for like the first time. And it was one of the first moments where it was like something I had done that felt really, really beautiful. And I guess like when I recorded that, that was kind of the vibe I was trying to give, is this very simple, very like kind of personal cover of that song, like specifically being like, this is from BioShock Infinite, this is where I got this song in my head from.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
And then I realized I can just do that, right? Like I can literally do a cover of whatever I want, record it, do a little bit of editing, and then just like take a little picture and throw it on Apple, and I could literally do that at any moment. And I think that really hit me at a certain point. I was like, wow, I could do whatever the hell I want with this. That's kind of cool.
Right. So that's awesome.
I'm trying to like run with that a bit more, like really trying to just do what I want with it, and like not trying to have like a whole idea set out, but to give myself like something that I know is like a vibe that I want to hit, and to kind of like slowly create that, you know, just in the time that I have, like in between doing a bunch of stuff at the temple and kind of working and just being a human, like trying to take that time to like craft something like Lilith, or just anything that could be possibly better in the near future, to like be really kind of concretely beautiful, and to just really hit home with people.
Just super creative, super like
exactly
out there, but also like you're inspiring people to also like see your artwork and your perspective on things.
And I think like authenticity, you know, I think that's the thing that for me like drives forward with a lot of these types of things, is it's like, you know, I can create a rap album and do all this stuff or whatever. I could create like every love song in the world, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if I'm like lying. So it's like I'm trying to like show people that like you could very literally tell the truth and like still be an artist and still like live your truth and talk about that and like sing about it and do all of these things to like express that as a person.
That's some truth for sure.
Because it's like a lot of people that I work with and have worked with, there's like a lot of anxiety about like creating at certain moments, and I think like it's almost like too complicated. It's like all you have to do is just be yourself and put it on paper.
No, it's so true.
That's it. You know, it's almost like too simple, and people overcomplicate the whole thing. And yeah.
So I've asked you a handful of questions, but are you ready to ask the Magic 8 a question?
I would love that. I think I'm ready. I have never done this.
All right, let's do it. This is it. Go ahead, Chloe.
What do I ask?
Anything your heart desires. Like anything, it will answer.
Will I ever meet and do a song with Ed Sheeran? That's what I want to know. Focus and ask again. Okay. Will I ever meet Ed Sheeran and do a song with him? Can't say no. Fine. That's okay. I can live with that.
Can't say no. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Chloe, for doing Ask the Magic 8.
Thank you. That was really cool. That was fun.
Yeah,
I've never done anything like that before.
Yeah, nice.
It breaks me. Try to put the pieces into place, and everyone's left me and I'm to blame. Memories how they haunt me, tears running